The Lazarus Corporation is bleeding the absolute earth dry, and helping them along the way is their evil, malevolent Brainiac AI. But how did Brainiac come to be, and what does he want? Well, let's hop into the pages of Absolute Superman issue number 7 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we join the book, we're introduced to a detachment of Omega agents who are attempting to sneak their way inside the Lazarus Corporation's Nevada base. Again, as I mentioned before, the book doesn't come out and say it, but this place is so obviously Area 51, which leads me to believe that Brainiac must be the alien from Area 51. The Omega's mission is simple: strike a major blow to the Lazarus Corporation by disconnecting their Brainiac AI, meaning that they will be forced to fly blind. Only here's the problem: Brainiac isn't just some computer program you can unplug. He's an actual thinking, feeling being. One who ends up going to work on these agents in the worst way possible. Obviously, we know in order to make his bottled cities, Brainiac has shrinking tech. Well, here he ends up using that tech in the most creatively horror movie way possible. Hey, you know all that skin on your body? Well, what if I shrunk it down to the point it all just ripped off you? Hey, you know all those soft, squishy organs inside of your body? Well, what if I enlarged them to the point you ended up just barfing them all up? Or perhaps worst of all, oh hey, you're running from me? Well, what if I enlarged small microscopic germs to the size of attack dogs and sent them to eat you? Now that is all nightmarish stuff to consider, and that is before we actually see Brainiac himself, who in this brand new Absolute universe has been given a total centibite makeover, complete with body horror, exposed brain parts, and the implication that he regularly does surgery on himself. Also, unlike the mainline Brainiac, who is a cold, logical machine being, this Brainiac is absolutely out of his goddamn mind. A condition that's only been made worse by the fact that despite his amazing intelligence, Brainiac still has no idea who this new Superman is, where he came from, or what he wants. In an attempt to better answer these questions, Brainiac vivisects the one remaining Omega agent, cutting him open and desperately trying to bleed him for new information. He also does this while talking to the guy like he's an old friend, going out of his way to regale him with his origin story. You see, Brainiac didn't always look like this. In fact, once upon a time, he actually looked much closer to the mainline universe Brainiac, but here's the rub: Brainiac was not a singular being, he was just one of a much bigger collective. A collective that we soon learn is deeply unfair. When this Brainiac was born, he was given the designation of Zero, basically meaning that he was a pleb, a worker, never allowed to ask any questions or gain knowledge above his station and function. What was his function, you might be wondering? Well, he passes butter. My god. No, actually, he shovels garbage, but pretty close, actually. What kind of garbage does Brainiac spend his days shoveling? Well, you'll never believe it, but it's actually other broken Brainiacs who are heavily implied to have been broken because they dared to ask questions and rise above their station. In doing so, they were found defective and were marked for the refuse pile. Now, this Brainiac was actually pretty good at this job. He did it for a very long time. It was a dangerous gig, too. He would regularly have to fend off homicidal Brainiacs still not ready to give up on that sweet, sweet thing known as life. In fact, there's a very funny exchange where he ends up getting jumped by a stabby Brainiac, saying that that is his function, only for our Brainiac to turn around and say, "I shovel," before killing him. In fact, those interactions are basically the closest thing that this Brainiac had to any sort of community. As we see, he lived thousands of years in complete isolation, to the point that, you guessed it, he too ended up malfunctioning, daring to ask questions above his station about the nature of the universe. Mainly, you know, if I shovel garbage and my life is garbage, am I too garbage? Is maybe the whole universe nothing but garbage? One day, though, surprisingly, the garbage chute stopped. No more refuse to shovel meant that Brainiac could actually explore the rest of the ship. He came to the very grim discovery that all the other Brainiacs aboard his skull ship were dead, even Brainiac 1 himself, who seemingly took his own life for reasons that we are uncertain of. Our Brainiac wasn't very depressed, though. He saw this as the ultimate opportunity to promote himself to level 100, give himself access to the information he was always denied, and see the universe for himself for the very first time. Unfortunately, he ended up maybe overindulging just a bit, shrinking down civilizations for his bottle city and generally acting like a goddamn maniac. It was after that somehow he ended up finding his way to Earth and getting shanghaied into servitude by director Ra's al Ghul. No word though yet on how they met or what exactly Ra's promised him. Though it is certainly a fascinating concept to chew on. Furthermore, Brainiac was the only survivor of his ship, but he's not actually the only one left in the collective. In fact, as we soon learn, there are other Brainiacs stationed on other worlds all over the universe. Ones that don't actually know just how rogue this Earth Brainiac has gone. Our Brainiac goes to the collective looking for information on Superman. And oh boy, does he find some doozies. As he learns from the rest of the collective, Krypton is the home planet of this strange Superman, but it's been destroyed for a long time now. The only thing left behind to ever let you know the society existed at all is, get this, strange irradiated rocks. It's in this conversation too, they also end up dropping reference to the Owens as well as the Black Stars. Hey, that new Green Lantern book just came out not too long ago, didn't it? Obviously, a big brain like Brainiac is absolutely fascinated by the concept of this otherworldly irradiated rock, one that might very well be able to counteract the red sun dust that makes up a lot of this world's Superman's power, and after a little tinkering, you guessed it, Brainiac manages to give birth to Kryptonite. Oh, but he's not done yet. As we see in the next room, Brainiac is also hard at work on his next project, upgrading Christopher Smith the Peacemaker into something bigger, badder, and stronger. In fact, this order seems to have come from Director Ra's himself. He wants the Peacemaker up and ready to fight as he's about to get deployed to a brand new war zone, a war zone named Kansas. And so that was Absolute Superman issue number 7, everybody. If you couldn't tell, I absolutely loved this issue. Jason Aaron manages to offer up a wonderfully creepy reinvention of the classic Brainiac, one that feels familiar, but also new in all the best ways. I love that he is essentially a horror character now. But, you know, those changes are just surface and cosmetic. I think what really makes this brand new version of Brainiac work is how Aaron has essentially made him a dark mirror to Superman's more class-conscious origin in the Absolute Universe. Much like the L's, Brainiac was an abused worker, toiling away for a collective that didn't care about him. The big difference, though, is that unlike Superman and the L's, once Brainiac actually freed himself from the collective, he basically just ended up becoming a worse version of them, hurting and exploiting other people more or less just because he could. Hell, this Brainiac is also still a cog in someone else's machine. He just stopped working for the collective and started working for Director Ra's. Overall, I really enjoyed this issue, and I can't wait to see what Jason Aaron does next. I would give this one a very positive 8.5 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.